You know, it's been a minute since I talked about my experience with the OnePlus 6T. Let's change that. What's up everyone, Matesho with Tech, and today we're talking about the OnePlus 6T and specifically covering the software on here because the software on here is actually really good, especially for an Android manufacturer who's not using stock Android. I actually like a lot of the things that they have on here better than on stock Android, so I want to talk about some of those features. Now before we get started, I just want to say if you guys are new here and you guys want to see more weekly videos like this, you guys should definitely consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. But getting right into it, let's talk about some of those features that I think make Oxygen OS really good. And we have to start off by talking about navigation gestures. Now, I am usually not a big fan of Android manufacturers messing with navigation bar, especially like Samsung moving the back button from left to right. It just makes for a bad experience on Android, especially when you're going from one phone to another. But I don't particularly love the navigation gestures that are in Android Pie. I hate the fact that they kept the giant bar even though they are gestures now. So what I really like is some of the gestures that OnePlus has implemented on here. So the way they work is you have to swipe up from the bottom to get them to work because there is no navigation bar anymore. Instead, you swipe up from the center to go home, you swipe up from either left or right side to go back, and then you swipe up and hold from the middle to go to multitasking. So that's very similar to how iOS does it, and I think it's just a better way to do it. Now, it's not completely perfect. I do kind of wish that there was some thin bar at the bottom just so that when text is going all the way down to those curved corners at the bottom, I kind of wish that there was just a little bit of padding so it doesn't just cut off some parts of it, but you know, it's actually much better than what Android Pie has. So yeah, definitely if Android can, you know, do something like this, I will be much happier in Android Q, but we'll have to see about that. All right, next up we have Face Unlock. Now, Face Unlock is really not a great feature. It's actually been available on Android forever, but OnePlus has really done a good job of just really making Face Unlock work really well. So if you guys watch this, watch. Do you see how fast that unlocked? Seriously, Face Unlock is just so ridiculously fast. It's like you don't even have a lock screen, which, I mean, it kind of is like you don't have a lock screen because it's not the safest method in the world. But, you know, for I think normal people, Face Unlock is good enough because who's trying to get into your phone most of the time? Yes, I like having some protection over it. Like, my wife can't just take my phone and unlock it. Okay, that's a bad example. I don't care if my wife unlocks my phone, but just some random person can't just pick up my phone and unlock it without having something like a picture of me, at least. Like, most pictures don't work. I've tried it with other pictures and for the most part it hasn't worked for me, so I think they've done at least a decent job in terms of security, and I think for the average person, it's good enough in terms of security. Now, the other reason Face Unlock gets up here is because the in-display fingerprint reader is just okay. It's fast enough, but really, I just don't like the front placement of the fast fingerprint reader. If they had actually placed it on the back like they did with the OnePlus 6, I would have been fine. All right, next up, we have another little feature that they have called Reading Mode. Now, Reading Mode is not that huge of a feature. I'm not sure that many people use it, but I use it. So what it is it makes the entire screen grayscale. So it's like reading a newspaper versus like looking at these bright, colorful displays. I just find it helps my eyes at night, especially when I'm reading like articles in bed or reading a book or something like that. It just makes the experience a little bit better. Now, I definitely don't think that, you know, Android needs to include this feature, but it's just a nice little feature that Oxygen OS has built in, and you know, it's nice to see manufacturers do something interesting at least. And then finally, last but not least, is a feature that is actually on quite a few Android manufacturers' phones. It's Pro Mode for your camera. Now, I love Pro Mode. I don't think it's for everybody to use, but I love having the option of it. So even if you have just an okay camera, you can still do some pretty amazing things. Like at night, you can take long exposure shots. If you have a tripod and you want to do it that way, you have the option to do it. So definitely, Pro Mode is one of those things that I just love, and I just wish more phones would have it, especially stock Android. I think Google just needs to put that in, even though I know their computational photography is amazing. Sometimes I just want control over them, what I'm taking a picture of. Now, it is lacking a couple things like Pro Video, so there's no Pro Mode when you're taking video. I kind of wish that was something that they had so I could, you know, choose the frame rate that I want, choose exactly the kind of look that I'm going for, but it doesn't have that. I mean, it's fine. I can live without it. There are other apps I can use it to do it, but you know, it would have been nice if it was built in. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the features that I really like about it. Now, I'm still pretty new to Oxygen OS, so I probably didn't get all the features. I don't know all the features yet, but hey, if you guys know some features that I missed out on that you guys love, go ahead and leave them in the comments down below. And as always, if you guys like this one, like it. If you guys loved it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.